It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, repeated 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. And Flow, man, it's time to talk the World Game now. And our man, Ellis Gelios from Flow News 24 has been a bit bleary-eyed, I'd imagine, over the last couple of days. Lots of World Cup qualifiers going on at the moment in Europe. Ellis, how are you, mate?
Hey, guys. Yeah, I've struggled to adjust to a week of no domestic football. It's that typical international break where we're dragging our heels around, waiting for things to ignite again domestically, but we'd love to get these games out of the way as per the calendar, as you guys know. So, but you know what? There was something nice about international football returning. It's actually been so long since we've seen meaningful internationals happen. You've basically got to go back to pre-COVID times. So it's been interesting, but it's back, and there you go, some international football to lick our lips over again.
Oh, yes, and talking about that, how about this? Turkey, who stand on the, I guess, in Europe, when it's the East and the West, they're right on the border of that at Istanbul, the Bosphorus there, but they have got up in European qualifiers and beaten the Netherlands 4-2, if you don't mind, Ellis.
Yes, it's a shocking result for the Netherlands because this Netherlands team is star-studded. As we know, didn't qualify for the 2018 World Cup, which was an absolute shock for everyone there in Holland to endure. And, you've really got to wonder about the direction they're going in.
Ellis, can we talk about France and Ukraine now? They had a 1-1 draw in their first. We see this a lot in big qualifiers where teams just don't want to concede 3 points. They want to get a point early in the group stage so that they know what they need to do later on.
Yes, look, for Ukraine, this is a massive result for them, obviously against the world champions. France went ahead with a Antoine Griezmann goal, but a penalty awarded to Ukraine in the 57th minute was converted, and France at home, really disappointing by them not to be able to beat Ukraine, who we know are somewhat of a sort of mid-tier national team in Europe. They've qualified for their fair share of World Cups, probably more than what they're entitled to qualify for, but for France, not a good result at all, and they'll very much be looking to correct that form in their next game.
Certainly will be. Some of the other results, just for those of interest, had Denmark beating Israel 2-0 and Switzerland 3-1 over Bulgaria. It was a 3-3 draw between Hungary and Poland, but Hungary awarded the points. Is that on a penalty goal?
No, they had a red card against them, so it's still 1 point each, but
yes.
6-goal thriller, and Hungary managed to hold on to a point even after a red card against them. But I tell you what, we'll talk about draws. The most interesting result, I reckon, so far, Spain 1-1 with Greece, Ellis. Now, tell us about this. The Greeks would be absolutely delighted with this result.
It's absolutely huge, guys. Greece, it's just worth pointing out, their assistant manager is a former Adelaide United defender, who's now in a massive job, obviously, as the assistant coach of the Greek national team. And what sort of underpins how amazing this result was the fact that, of course, yesterday marked 200 years since Greek independence from the Turkish occupation. So a massive public holiday and a huge day of celebrations in Greece yesterday, marked by a massively unexpected result away to Spain. To achieve this result and to hold on for a point away to Spain. This Greek team's been in very poor form, guys. Very underwhelming form for the best part of the last 2 years. And we're talking about, obviously, a world-class team in Spain. And to do it on such a historical day is absolutely huge. And it will reignite the ambitions that the Greeks have when it comes to qualifying for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar.
All right, it will. And, of course, England fans will be pleased to know that they've won.
Yeah, who'd they beat, though?
Well, they beat the tiny little nation, San Marino.
Bullies, that's all they are. They're
5-0, but talking about things Italian, they were 2-0 winners over Northern Ireland. And a big look now at what's happening in Australian competition, because at the top of the table, look at this, we have the Central Coast Mariners still out in front. 8 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses. And in second second place, Western City and Adelaide United on an absolute gun-winning streak along with the Melbourne City side. Both of those have not lost in the last 5 weeks.
Ellis, your boys, the Reds, 5 wins on the trot. Can you believe it?
I can, only because when you assess the squad they've got and the opponents they've been up against in the last few weeks, they haven't been too much chop at all. Obviously, Newcastle most recently, they after having a real promising month or so of remaining undefeated, they've really been quite bleak in the last few weeks, and so still at home you'd expect them to be more competitive than losing 4-1 to Adelaide United last Sunday night, but Adelaide United, for them, it's all about the huge test that awaits on Sunday evening at Cooper Stadium against Sydney FC. Haven't beaten Sydney at home in some 7 years, guys. Sydney FC desperately unlucky not to beat Perth Glory on Wednesday night in Western Australia. I've never seen a more one-sided affair that did not result in the dominating team earning the 3 points. So Sydney will be, and actually Sydney have coordinated their travel so that they've come straight from Perth to Adelaide, and they're going to get 2 training sessions in prior to that game. They're training today and they'll be training tomorrow at a local pitch in the eastern suburbs of Adelaide. So their preparation will be second to none. And look, for Adelaide United, a huge task on their hands, but if they can beat Sydney FC 100%, the Reds are the real deal.
No doubt about that. Perth Glory, they have to beat the Newcastle Jets tomorrow night to still be in the finals picture. But the reality is they're probably not good enough at the moment now anyway. I'd tell you what, the other big game that we're really looking forward to is Melbourne City taking on the Western Sydney Wanderers. And this has some connotations for both Adelaide United and Sydney FC, who are loitering around the same position on the ladder.
Correct, and more so, I think this game is probably more about the fact that both these clubs at the moment are really leading the way in terms of the form guide. Melbourne City and Western Sydney, both clubs have had their struggles earlier on this season, but they've now really overseen a course correction. Patrick Yasnorbo and, of course, Carl Robinson of the Wanderers. Both sides have seen various fan bases from their clubs lay into the lack of form, the lack of cohesion and flowing football that these clubs have been playing as of probably 2 months ago. But Melbourne City, in absolutely scintillating form, obviously took apart the Central Coast Mariners most recently, and Western Sydney Wanderers, haven't they just been in delightful form themselves? Suddenly now looking like really the 2 front runners, along with probably Adelaide United, if Adelaide can beat Sydney FC on Sunday night. These 3 clubs are really the 3 front runners to put the most pressure on the Central Coast Mariners, who themselves will be looking to return to the winner's circle. But Friday night, Western Sydney versus Melbourne City, it's a massive game. Melbourne City really need to win this one. It's in Melbourne, and if they can, they're my early favourites, guys.
All right, well, we'll leave it there. Ellis, enjoy the football this weekend. Great chatting with you again. Go the Eagles, and we'll catch up with you again in the future. Thanks for joining us throughout the summer here on the Flow Friday Night Sports Show.
Been an absolute pleasure, guys. Been a real joyous ride, plenty of fun, and you guys have a great weekend, and we'll speak soon.
Thanks, Ellis.